Hello, and welcome to the BMC Quick Course Series. My name is Thomas Smith, and I'm a lead technical support based in Austin, Texas. In this session, I'll show you how to set the site-wide defaults in the installation system. The purpose of the site-wide defaults is to provide a way to set defaults for common items that would typically have the same value across all install projects at your company. The values can be set once and then will be inherited by all new install projects. The values that you use are applicable to your company's environment. For example, you can provide SMS values for allocations. Most values can be overridden at the project level. From the BMC Software Installation System main menu, select Option 5 to set site-wide default values. The site-wide default values panel is displayed. This is a scrollable panel as indicated by the More and the plus sign in the upper right-hand part of the screen. Use PF7 and PF8 to scroll up and down. Use PF1 to access the help for site-wide defaults. Sections marked with an asterisk are always used when generating installation and configuration jobs. These values are not expected to change from one project to another. For example, the first section of FTP site and download options is marked with an asterisk. The BMC user ID and password do not change that often. Once set here, they will be used for every project. The Dataset HLQ section is also marked with an asterisk. The default value will resolve to TSO user ID of the person submitting the jobs with the project name as the second node. If you have many people performing installs at your shop, using the user ID and project name will keep the temporary datasets unique so that one install does not overlay another. The allocation options allow you to set SMS, unit, or vol.ser information for the different types of datasets that will be used. These can be overridden at the project level. If SMS values are specified, they will be used rather than the unit and vol.ser values. If you have SMS, ACS routines that will direct the datasets to their specific allocations based on the high-level qualifier, then you should specify Y to the allocations controlled by SMS ACS routines, and leave the other values blank. If you create new target and distribution SMPE datasets and plan to later install other products into the same datasets, you should specify a percentage in the increase allocation by field. The system values are used for some site-wide datasets specific to your environment. Only some products use the IBM Call and C libraries. To determine which products require these libraries, see the product requirements in the Installation System Reference Manual. The section for SMPE options has an asterisk, which means these values will be used for all projects, both new or existing, when the install jobs are generated. The default for Create FMID Sets option is N, which will cause the FMID statements to be explicitly stated in the JCL. The Batch Job Generation options allows you to specify distinct job names and different job cards for install and configuration jobs. If you want the job name to match the generated member names, then specify Y for that option. For example, if the generated member name is $103DWNL, then the job name becomes $103DWNL with this option. If you want the job name to be suffixed with the member name number, then specify Y for that option. For example, if the generated member name is $103DWNL, the job name in the job card is BMC INST, then the job name becomes BMC I103. These two options are mutually exclusive, so they cannot both be set to Y. If they are both set to N, then the job name specified in the job card will be used for all jobs generated. If you have different people that perform the install task from the configuration task, you can specify the different job cards here. If you have many users that will be generating jobs, you might want to specify a more generic job card so that each user can modify to their specific needs. If one class or message class will work for everyone, you might want to set it here in the site-wide defaults. All of these values can be overridden at the project level. The only required field in the FTP site options is the FTP program name. Specify FTP and optionally firewall information used at your site. The information entered in these fields is case sensitive. Datasets names are used exactly as specified. Nothing is prefixed or appended to the name. Do not use single or double quotation marks. If your site requires proxy control cards to get outside your site's firewall, enter them in the firewall login credentials. The syntax of the control cards is used as entered. Do not enter any control cards in this section that you cannot use as login credentials. If the symbolics AMBER firewall user and AMBER firewall password are specified in this section, the user will be prompted to enter the values in the project prior to connecting to the BMC FTP site. If your site does require login credentials that you specify here, you should also use the symbolics of AMBER BMC user and AMBER BMC password in the proper location as required by your site's firewall. The values will be resolved using the values specified at the top of the site-wide defaults panel. If you change values and press PF3 to save the site-wide defaults, you will see this panel. The site-wide defaults should be set once by one person specifying values that can be used throughout the company. Changing the site-wide defaults often will affect all newly created projects and can affect existing projects if their JCL is regenerated. As mentioned before, most values can be overridden at the project level as needed. Take care when updating the site-wide defaults to ensure that the values are suitable across the company. Thank you for your time. For more information on any BMC mainframe product, please visit the URL shown here.